Yo, what's good, my people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE Raw review. So tonight I'm reviewing WWE Raw for May the 19th, 2014. If you know anything about wrestling, today has a little bit of a special hint to it because it's one of the days that it's the day that Kane's parents died. But they don't really hit about it on Raw. They put some stuff on the web. That's about it. So let's go and get into the show. So tonight's Raw for May the 19th, 2014, and the show is in London, England. So you know you're going to get a hot crowd automatically. And the show kicks off with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family inside of the ring. And let me tell you, Bray Wyatt just goes in and cutting the. Well, I feel it's his best promo that he's cut. He starts talking about his problems with Cena. He starts going into this whole thing about him and a teacher that said he couldn't be anything and that he was just evil at heart. And he goes and says, you know what, the teacher's in a convalescent home or wherever, just, you know, she's fucked. You know, just not having no type of life, done nothing with her life, while I'm here in front of thousands of people, you know, doing what I do. And yes, I am evil, but I'm a necessary evil. And he just goes talking more shit about Cena and just how, you know, he's going to make him, he's going to be, how Bray Wyatt's going to be the last man standing at the pay-per-view, but Luke Harper is going to whip his ass tonight, and Luke Harper is going to take him out for the night. So I think Bray Wyatt's best promo so far, and I really loved it. The way the crowd reacted with Bray Wyatt, the way they did the whole thing where they had their cell phone lights up during the whole time and just, you know, swaying the cell phone lights back and forth when he's singing, got the whole world in his hand. It just had an ambiance here tonight, and I had to clap at the end, and I was like, dude, that shit was so fucking good, so fucking awesome here. So yeah, really good opening from Bray Wyatt. You go to next, where during Bray Wyatt's opening, John Cena music hits, and Bray Wyatt sends the Wyatt family to the stage to go get John Cena before he can come out. And John Cena comes out of nowhere, attacks Bray Wyatt, hits him with the AA, and then runs out the ring before the Wyatt family can get him. So okay, you know, just quick beat down and John Cena getting over a little bit right here. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was done neatly. So next you have Paul Heyman, who comes out with Cesaro, and he's basically shitting on the British crowd here, telling them, you know, basically they're nothing, they're idiots and stuff. He lays on the ground at one point, asks the crowd, "What am I?" And he says he's the Undertaker. Then does his whole Brock Lesnar and he beat the streak thing. Then he starts talking about Cesaro and puts over Cesaro into the match. And you have a match between Cesaro versus Sheamus. The match started off very slow. The crowd was into it just because it was Cesaro, but the match was just very slow at best. It came down towards the end where Cesaro hits he calls it a Swiss German suplex and ends up doing a roll up pin ends up pinning Sheamus. And I thought the match itself, Cesaro picks up the win. I thought the match itself was okay. It's not their best match. They had a way better match on Main Event last week. But it looks like they're going to continue on with this feud between them two, which I'm kind of happy about because the stuff they had on Main Event was really good. And before, it looked like they were going to go in something more with Cesaro and Rob Van Dam. So I'm happy that they're continuing on with this. And after the match, you get Cesaro, who goes to try to shakes Sheamus goes to try to shake Cesaro's hand, and Cesaro does the old school, you know, shoo to Sheamus. So, you know, I really did like that, and just kept pushing up the heel stuff with Cesaro. And also, you had part of the reason why Cesaro won was because of Paul Heyman, so that was really good. They kept pushing that as well. So next, you get a Beat the Clock series, which is for the United States title. They just keep putting these kind of tournaments to give the United States title, not the United States title, for the Intercontinental title. So they keep putting these tournaments and stuff, these different type of tournaments to put up the Intercontinental title to give it some type of, you know, meaning. I like that they're doing this. They're you know, giving us these different, you know, kind of just, what do you call them, just these tournament ideas, just these ways for guys to say, okay, we're going to find a way to fight for this title. I like that they're doing that with this Intercontinental title, and that they keep doing that. Hopefully they don't do it too much, but for now it's a pretty good idea. So for your first match, you get Ryback versus Big E. The match was very slow and kind of didn't really have a good chemistry to it. Both guys are probably too big and too similar in styles to really put on a really good match. It was a mediocre match at best. Big E ends up picking up the win and had the time to beat. So next you get a promo with The Shield. Dean Ambrose comes out and talks about how Evolution thought they humbled them and how, just keep going on about how good they are and how they're just going to beat down Evolution, and Evolution thinks that they're putting their fist to them and putting the beat down to them, but they get beat down all the time, so they're going to they don't get beat down all the time, but they've been down before and they're going to always come back up. And he talks about how Roman Reigns got a big shiner on his eye, this whole slice on his eye, and how he had to get 9 stitches, which was very good, and just the whole stuff with him. Then Seth Rollins gets on the mic and starts saying some of the same thing, and you get Roman Reigns who gets on the mic and continues with the whole feel. And I thought it was a really good promo between all 3 guys, and it did exactly what they need to do. And I like that majority of the promo here was with Dean Ambrose. So next you get a match that was supposed to be R-Truth and one of the Funkadactyls versus Fandango and Layla, mixed tag match. And first of all, R-Truth and the Funkadactyls, I kind of don't want to see that again. The entrance was okay, I guess, but he like puts the mic in front of them so the girls can say what's up, and it doesn't have the same feel as him putting the mic towards the crowd so the crowd can say what's up. So hopefully if they do continue that, they find a way to do it better. But it looks like they're going to go with this because they didn't even have the match. What you had once Fandango came out and doing his little twerking dances and stuff like that, along with his ballroom dancing, which was kind of funny to me. So he comes out, the crowd is very hot for Fandango, and they get in the ring, and you hear Summer Rae's music. She comes out, she gets in the ring, kisses Fandango after Fandango had already kissed Layla in the ring, kisses Fandango, and she jumps on Layla, and they start going at it. Crowd's going nuts for this, and the ref breaks it up. Well, I think Fandango breaks it up, and he gets Layla out the ring, and Layla's pulling onto Summer Rae's hair, and Summer Rae ends up getting let go, and she just starts smiling in the ring and wiping her lips. So I thought it was a pretty chill segment. I like the way they brought Summer Rae back, and hopefully it seems like they're going to do more with this, probably leading into the pay-per-view. So I'm fine with this. I thought it was pretty chill. Next, you get a promo segment from Stephanie McMahon. She comes out to the ring to Daniel Bryan's music, so it pisses the crowd off. And she basically comes in the ring talking about how Daniel Bryan is going to have to strip the championship, and she may end up giving it to Kane or Batista or Barrett, and she says, the crowd would love that. Or she can give it to her husband, Triple H, and she says no, that she's going to leave it up to Daniel Bryan next week to hand over the belts. So I guess we're going to have Daniel Bryan back next week to see what happens. As far as the promo goes, I thought it was pretty chill. Stephanie did her thing here, and just keeping Daniel Bryan relevant and keeping the whole feel of everything that's going to go on here pretty relevant. I'm actually curious if Daniel Bryan may end up coming back by the pay-per-view, because only for the reason that Santino had a neck surgery not too long ago before WrestleMania and ended up coming back like in 2 weeks. So I'm interested to see what happens here. It could just be that the dude needs to heal and it's not that big of a surgery. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with this. And also they didn't really pipe up nothing for Kane here, so that was interesting that they did that. So let's go to the next thing. Next you get a match with the Union Jacks, which is 3MB, versus Heath Slater from the Union Jacks versus Alexander Rusev. Alexander's not fighting black guys. Yes. So you get Union Jacks who come out, crowd hype for them. I like how 3MB does this. Pick up these costumes when they're in London and just kind of portray this different side of their characters. You had Lana come out and she hypes up Russia and Putin and basically says Russia's going to take over America and England. So I like the promo from her, and she was looking hot as well. and she even hands the mic to Rusev, and he says a little thing. So yeah, I wish that she would have did a little bit more of a promo onto Britain alone, so we can hear her and talk shit about Britain. But I like it for what it was. So you basically get a match that's a squash match. Rusev basically squashes the whole 3MB, then makes Heath Slater taps. And oh yeah, Lana was looking delicious as always. So let's go to the next thing. Next, you get another Beat the Clock series for the IC title, number one contendership, and it was Rob Van Dam versus Del Rio. They put on another mediocre match here. It was really nothing to it. I would say it was a little bit better than the match between Ryback and Big E. I thought this match just had more crowd interaction to it, so that made it a little bit better. But as far as the way the match went down, it really wasn't too much to it. You can tell they was working to a direct time, so it really didn't give them a chance to do what they needed to do. And also, weirdly here, Rob Van Dam looked very off here. He wasn't running like he was supposed to. It looked like he may have tweaked something here. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go from this. But Rob Van Dam picks up the win here, and he's now the head leading guy in the Beat the Clock series. So goes on to the next and final Beat the Clock match coming up in a little bit. So next you get a backstage segment with Evolution, and they're basically talking about how Randy Orton busted open Roman Reigns and how they need to do the rest of the Shield and they need to take him out one by one, and that's what they're going to do at the pay-per-view. And he says that Batista can get a start right now against Seth Rollins, and they send him out there. So next you get a match with Batista versus Seth Rollins, but Triple H comes out first and says that, well, before I say anything, they said on the pre-show that their match tonight wasn't going to be any of the other team members at the side of the ring, so it was supposed to be just Batista and Seth Rollins in there. And what you ended up having is Triple H who comes out and says he's going to be guest ring announcer, so he's an official that's going to be out there, and that Randy Orton is going to be guest timekeeper, so he's also out there, as both of them out there as officials, so supposedly they get to be out there because of that. So then you get Seth Rollins who hops on the mic and says that I'm not going to be alone because I have two guest commentators that are going to be out here, and they basically explain it by that the other Shield members went up to Brad Maddox and basically threatened him to get them to be guest commentators. So that's how they explain this, which was kind of smart thing to do and a smart way to put it together. But what you get is a pretty chill match between Seth Rollins and Batista, surprisingly. Seth Rollins really carried the match. Batista did his power moves and stuff like that. But the way Seth Rollins really worked this match, he sold everything that Batista threw at him very well, and he did everything that he needed to do. The match ends up in DQ after Triple H ends up hitting Seth Rollins, and everything just breaks down, and the guys are jumping over tables, diving onto each other. You end up getting a spear happening, and they try to go for a triple powerbomb onto Batista, but the Evolution end up getting them out, and we have another big stare down from both guys, and it's kind of like, they both kind of fucked each other up, and nobody really takes the big win out of here. The Shield kind of gets a little bit more of the edge because, they stood standing tall inside of the ring, but really both teams kind of, equaled it out here. And like I said, a pretty good match and just a really good segment altogether. I really did think the Shield were one of the high points of this whole show. The Shield and Evolution were the high points of this whole show. So also during the match I saw in the crowd that you had Action Bronson out there, a rapper from America, I think he is. But that was, or wherever he's from, a rapper was out there, and I thought that was pretty cool. And he even posted it on Instagram, so that was pretty cool. So next you get a Divas match, which is Paige versus Alicia Fox, and Paige is in her hometown of London. England, I guess you can say, because she's from somewhere in there. And what you end up getting here is a very aggressive match for these girls. I mean, they put on a really, just the way Paige was slinging Alicia Fox around by her hair. Alicia Fox starts the match with a nice kick to the face. Alicia Fox throws Paige onto the outside and then knocks her off of the barricade. They were just really aggressive with each other. The end came up where Alicia Fox throws Paige into the corner post inside of the ring and ends up giving her a kick to the face from there and pins her 1, 2, 3, and Alicia Fox picks up a clean win. I didn't really necessarily like the end. I didn't think it was like hardcore enough for the Divas champion to, be able to get pinned off of that. But for what it was, I thought it was done pretty well. And I thought, as far as, just a match goes, I thought this was a pretty chill match, especially for the Divas, especially, giving what it needed to give. So Alicia Fox picks up a win. And I kind of wish there was a little bit more cheating here to let Alicia Fox pick up a, kind of undecisive win over the champion at least. But it was what it was, and I liked it. So after the match, you get Alicia Fox, who goes on another tantrum and basically proclaiming herself to be the queen, picking up the king's hat and walking off with it, walking on the barricade, all the way down the barricade, like on top of the fucking barricade, like tightrope walking on the barricade, douses herself with soda and just starts yelling at the crowd how great she is. So I really liked Alicia Fox here. My girl is looking very good here, and this is the best she's looked in a while. So I think the best she's looked ever. And it's funny because they're making her look really great, but Paige isn't really getting that much of a high point. But I think it's going to even out for both of them, especially that Alicia Fox isn't really going to win a championship. So I really do like that they're getting her some more hype here, and I think they're doing really good with Alicia Fox here. So next you get a backstage segment with John Cena and the Usos, and it's basically John Cena talking about how he's going to stand tall against the Wyatts. And he starts going on this little thing where he's using, I don't know if you've ever seen Wolf of Wall Street, but he's using Matthew McConaughey's little chant where he goes, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So he starts doing that little chant here and just doing it with the Usos and basically saying he's going to beat the Wyatts, and that he got the Usos with him this time. So he's going to have the edge. They're at least going to be even off against each other. So going into their match with John Cena versus Luke Harper tonight. So yeah, pretty okay promo here. Nothing big out of it. After that, you get Mark Henry versus Dolph Ziggler in a match, and before the match you get Dolph Ziggler on a little Titantron, the little mini-tron thing, and he basically talking about how this is his chance to do something big. Mark Henry walks into the shot and basically have a stare down, and Dolph Ziggler acts like his breath stink, and actually did this all through the night with the different guys that was in the beat the clock matches. You had Ryback, who did his own where he says that he's bigger than the Big Ben clock or whatever they called it, and he calls himself the big guy. And then you had I think Del Rio did one as well where he's saying that he needs to be champion because he needs to save the world, and that's the only way the children can have something to look to if he's champion. So pretty interesting things there. But the match with these two guys was pretty okay here. You had Ziggler hit an awkward famouser, like it was a kind of inverted famouser, but it looked okay for what it was. Ziggler didn't pick up the win. Ziggler kind of gets down to where it looks like he's going to pick up the win. Hits a zigzag on a Mark Henry after he jumps off of not getting hit with a World's Strongest Slam, and tries to go for the win, but the time runs out, and it looks like Rob Van Dam is going to be the guy to face Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship at the special event. So after the match, you get Rob Van Dam, who comes out and he starts just looking at the thing and said, okay, I'm going to be number one contender. Cool. And out of nowhere, Bad News Barrett comes, attacks him from the back, knocks him out, and just stands over him and just goes, I got some bad news. And just starts cutting this promo about how he's not going to get beaten by a Yank, and how Britain's better than, he's better than Rob Van Dam, and how this is his hometown, and just playing towards the British crowd and just doing a very good job of it. He was very nice here, and I really did like Wade Barrett here and did a very good job here. So yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with Wade Barrett. Hopefully they have a match with him on SmackDown so they can use this British crowd with him. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good segment here. And Wade Barrett standing tall and looking real good in his hometown. So after that, you get the Wyatt family, who get another promo where you get Luke Harper, who comes on and he starts talking about how John Cena's a rat and he's a snake and he's going to get John Cena. And Bray Wyatt comes out and just start hyping up himself and everything else more. So another okay promo here. I don't think it was necessarily needed, but it was what it was. And after that, you get Adam Rose, who gets called out by Renee Young, and she's basically just asking him questions about, how he feels about being in the WWE right now, and about his problems with Zeb Coulter, and he says he doesn't really have any problems with him, and that Zeb needs to stop being a lemon, he needs to be a rosebud. And she's asking him questions about the party people and stuff like that, and you end up getting Zeb Coulter, who comes out. The crowd is really hot for Adam Rose right here, and the crowd is doing his song and everything. And I thought he was over more than he ever was on any of his last two appearances right here, but it still wasn't really like as over as he was at NXT. But Zeb Coulter comes out, the crowd is singing the Real American songs. He tells them to shut up. Then he starts talking to Adam Rose and going back and forth with him, and basically says he wants to fight Adam Rose right here. And Jack Swagger ends up hitting Adam Rose, and they get into a tussle, and Adam Rose hits Swagger, knocks him to the ground, and starts dancing with his peoples. So, with the Rosebuds, whatever you want to call them. So I thought this was a pretty chill segment. The best Rose looked in a while, and he really had a lot of help from the hype London crowd, who was into the song, that at least his song all night, and did a really good job for him, at least, to get him a little bit more over. Hopefully it can help him out and get the other crowds to sing his song and stuff. So after that, you get your main event match, which was John Cena versus Luke Harper, with the Wyatt family and the Usos out on the outside. And a pretty chill match here. You get both John Cena and Luke Harper try to hit hurricanranas of their own onto each other. You get Luke Harper hitting some good moves, John Cena hitting some okay moves here. The crowd was most definitely into the Wyatt family. They were booing John Cena the whole night, singing "Cena sucks" the whole night. So the match ends up coming down to where the Usos get Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family from entering the match. Bray Wyatt actually does enter the ring, but one of the Usos runs up. Bray Wyatt hits him with the Sister Abigail, then hits the other Uso with the Sister Abigail while he was trying to run up to Bray Wyatt. Tries to go to hit John Cena with a Sister Abigail, and I believe he actually does it. No, he doesn't do it at first. John Cena hits Luke Harper with the AA, then Eric Rowan runs in and kind of squashes the whole thing. And you get Bray Wyatt actually finally hits John Cena with the Sister Abigail in the ring, bring him outside. They hit him with a, I think it's a fall away drop or whatever you call it, onto the ramp, and then hit him with another Sister Abigail onto the stage. So, and start singing "He Got the Whole World in His Hands" while Luke Harper counts up to 10, and basically showing that John Cena can be put down for a 10 count. So as far as this whole segment goes in the match, I thought the match was pretty chill. I thought it did exactly what it needed to do to hyping up Bray Wyatt. It showed that, the Usos were a help, but, once it's even if it's 3-on-3, the Wyatt family has a better chance of, doing what they need to do, because they don't really necessarily care about winning all the time. And also, they just here to hurt them, and they've been a team longer. So, it was effective, a match and an effective segment altogether. So as far as the whole show goes, I thought it was a pretty chill show. If I was to grade it, I would give it a B-. I thought that the Shield Evolution stuff was very good. I thought that the Cena Wyatt stuff was very good. I thought that both sections of the Diva stuff was pretty chill. And everything else was just kind of filler for the night. The stuff with Sheamus and Cesaro, while I liked the idea of both of them going against each other, the match itself wasn't really good. And the whole stuff for the IC Beat the Clock challenge was a good idea, but again, the matches weren't really good. So, it really wasn't anything from those two, which took up a good majority of the night. Really didn't come out of it. And, certain other stuff was pretty chill, but they weren't great. So, it was a couple things that was really good here. And I think my favorite thing of the night has to be Alicia Fox again. Like, her and the Shield stuff and the Wyatt family stuff, that was just all fun right there. So I had at least three good segments that I thought was really fun. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Hit me up at the links down below. And, thank you for watching. Continue watching wrestling, people. Peace.